Hello from the Yarn Closet in Mescal, Arizona, Benson, Arizona, Southern Arizona. That is where we are located. I have somehow managed in the last couple of weeks to post here on Patreon and Instagram some of the beginner Reiki that I'm going to be offering through the podcast and my different outlets. If you want to buy me a coffee, just drop a donation over at PayPal at the Yarn Closet at paypal.com. Or if you want to subscribe and get some individualized Reiki for yourself, go ahead and subscribe at Patreon. If you're just here for the yarn, then you're just here for the yarn, and that's great. If you don't know what Reiki is, I'm going to go into that a little bit tonight. If you don't know me, I am Laura. I'm 51. I'm legally blind. I can see a little bit out of my right eye. The only reason I don't walk around with my left eye shut all the time is my mom taped it open as a child. But I do occasionally revert back to it. When I do Reiki, I close my eyes often just because I feel moved in that direction. Reiki is energy work. So when I was in my mid-30s and going blind, I went to massage school, became a massage practitioner and energy worker. And Reiki was one of the things that I was certified in, proficient in. I also did workshops through a convent that is no longer there in healing prayer. And I believe that healing prayer and Reiki are all kind of in the same zone. Reiki's not going to hurt you. It's not some weird woohoo stuff. I just believe that I can sit here and put my hands up, generate out my Reiki energy, which is prayer for your best healing. Reiki will always do the highest healing. And sometimes in doing that, I will talk some hopefully encouraging words to you or use some intentions, because you can have an intention in Reiki, even though it will go to your highest healing. Yeah, I'm tucked in today. It's cold in Arizona. I don't know how to flip the camera. Does this flip the camera? See, that doesn't flip the camera. I don't know what that little white thing does. So this is my little hobby farm in the mountains around me. Oftentimes you can see our goats, some of our garden, some of our pigs, but they are predominantly tucked up because it is so cold. It is February 18th or 19th. It's the Sunday of 2023. And I mean, it's still been in the 20s in the overnights. I mean, we freeze here. We snow here. The snow is melted, but I had snow almost all week on that side of my house because we got a good 2.5 inches one night. It's crazy. It gets cold in the desert. And we have nice warmth, at least for part of the day, most days. But I must say I like it. I'm from Minnesota originally. If you couldn't hear it in my voice, you know. So I like the cold. I'm a knitter. I like the cold. I like to be able to pull some stuff out. I get so frustrated. All the things I make year round, nobody wants them, or my kids want them and they wear them once. It's very frustrating. You may hear some noises. I have Chip and Mitzi in here with me, 2 of my small dogs. I have 3. I have Mitzi the Morkie. That means Maltese Yorkie mix. I have Chip, who is a toy poodle, a party poodle. He has 2 colors. And he's almost 12. And then I have Scotty, who is a fox terrier Chihuahua mix. And he's about 9. Mitzi's about 1.5 years. So she has lots of perky energy. But you don't need to chew that. Thank you. Come on, Mitzi, come here. Come here, you can do it. Come on. definitely abused before we got her. We got her at her about a 1-year anniversary. And she is a little skittish at times, definitely with men. And yes, the collar is a vibrating collar for barking. All of the little dogs wear them now. And they just vibrate. They make a little noise and they vibrate. But it does help. It doesn't help a lot with Mitzi. Mitzi wouldn't care if it was a full-on collar. If she felt like she needed to bark for us, she would do it, no matter what. But I really wanted to. Oh, I just love you. Oh, you're just so tiny. She's so tiny. She was about 6 pounds when we got her. I think she's pushing 8 now. She's definitely filled out quite a bit. I think you can sit by Chip. Chip, you gonna let her sit by? Here, I'm gonna get her. Here is an old crocheted blanket. If you ever go to the thrift store and you find an old crocheted blanket, just seam the short ends, and you have a big old cocoon sweater. It's the fastest way. I mean, this one totally goes almost to my knees. I love it. But Mitzi also likes blankets and pillows to roll around with on the couch. This is what we call the yarn closet. It is a room off my front porch that I'm hoping next summer to get a wall air conditioner heater unit installed. In this unit, possibly the pantry. We've got one off the back porch. And we've also got a studio off of our garage. The studio has swamp cooling in it, which is because our air is so dry most of the year before monsoon season. When it gets hot out, we can put a little bit of moisture in the air to cool it off, and that's what a swamp cooler is. If you try to use a swamp cooler when you're having rains, during our rainy season, it's usually August, September, you just feel like everything's wet and it doesn't do you any good, doesn't help. So I'm hoping to put in a unit, at least in that one and this room, to give a burst of heating and cooling. I have a small, I love these electric fireplaces. Now, I should probably take my knitting off of this one. The heat comes from here. You have to get the units where the heat comes from the top. I've got one in my house that adjusts by temperature. This one has like high, medium, low, and off, so you can have just the ambiance. But this will toast up this room in less than an hour. And I love it. So we call this the yarn closet because my podcast is the yarn closet, and it's the closet I store all my yarn in and my yarn tools. I do have a table in the house that has a couple of knitting machines on it that I use. I also use this room for pet rescue, small dog, kitten, cat. If we had an injured chicken, I would keep it in here. Or piglet. We have piglets right now. I recently did just paint the walls. I'm going to eventually scrape the popcorn ceiling because there's some staining from a roof leak before we bought the place. And the wall color is just the tiniest bit lilac. Most people can't tell. I just tried to mix some paint that I already had so I didn't have to go buy more paint. So it's the tiniest bit lilac. The fact that I know that is good enough, because the fact that it's all repainted and some of it's splotchy because, you know, I'm legally blind. I don't do a great job. I know that. But guess what? I can still do it. Even though I know that, I can still do it. I don't make a huge mess. I'm reasonably good at it. But it's my room, so I can do it. And I need to do things in my life. And that brings me to some of the chatter of the podcast. Remember how back at the beginning of the year we all had some stuff? Because we all do that. Well, my thing was I wanted to get off all my medications that I was put on after my hysterectomy back when I was 45. Because as far as I could tell, I am menopause now. I'm through it. So why should I be on these things? I was only on 2 medications that were considered antidepressants. I only found out after I went off one last August that one actually helped control my weight. Nobody told me. I didn't realize that until after the fact. So I have gained slowly here, just since I've been off of it, a chunk of weight. I just went off the second one. So the first one was bupropion, and I was on less than the minimum dose. And the second one was sertraline, and I was on a minimum dose. Over the years, it had gone up and gone down or whatever, but I usually stayed at the minimum dose. Now that one can bump your weight a little bit, so maybe over the next few months as I'm off of it, my weight will come down a little bit more, but I'm also working harder to help because I am at that age. I'm back on the Lucy Wyndham Reed every day, and I swear her workouts, a lot of them are short, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, targeted, standing, low impact workouts. I swear I see great results on that very, very quickly. I would highly recommend her. Lucy Wyndham Reed. She's highly encouraging. Other than the fact that she's like 57 and looks like a Barbie doll, you have to remember she's single, she's never had children. That makes a difference, people. It makes a difference. Some of us, our bellies were affected severely when we were pregnant, and those muscles are just never going to do what we want them to do unless there's medical intervention. And so I don't compare to her, but I love her energy. Every once in a while you see her cats. She's very encouraging. And like I said, her workouts are short, so I will be able to do 5 minutes here, there, throughout the day, because I am a mom. I do get interrupted a lot. And the sad part about this room is our bedroom, our master's on the other side of this wall. So I can't really be in here doing anything noisy or talking if my husband is napping. So it limits when I'm able to do stuff, but I could do 5 minutes here and there. Usually manage to knock out a few of those workouts in a day. And I think doing 5 minutes 2-3 times a day, or 7 minutes or whatever, is really helpful at our age, because I have been looking more into research about what is the most effective for women my age. Well, guess what, ladies? The majority of research was done on men in their 20s and 30s. Well, who the hell cares about that? They're all fit and it's easy. And if they get up and walk around the block, they're going to lose 20 pounds. Who cares? Things are very different for menopausal women. Perimenopausal and menopausal women. I think getting your mindset shifted properly, doing small bursts of workouts, using weights or body weight, which is Lucy does. Hers are all low impact, but just from doing this on and off through a 10-minute workout, by the time I'm doing my second one at the end of the day, I'm like feeling it. She really knows her stuff. I really have to give her credit for that. I like her for that. And I want to put the least amount of effort in and get the most amount of gain. I don't want to have to change my diet too terribly much. I am making an effort at drinking more liquids throughout the day. I gave up caffeine years ago, but I'm trying. I'm trying. And this is just an aside in my own experience. It has nothing to do with you. If you are on meds for depression or anxiety, I think that's a great choice. I wish I had been on them more throughout my younger years, to be honest. I wish I had. But right now, in the stage of my life that I'm in, I feel better being off of them. I'm a little bit more clear-headed. Some of the side effects, I'm clear-headed. I'm not having any of those menopausal, like, anger outbursts, irrational anger outbursts. I'm not having hot flashes anymore. I'm not having night sweats anymore. My joint pain has improved dramatically. So I just don't believe that I needed the medications anymore to help cope with that stuff. I have other things going on in my life right now that I really do need to be as clear-headed as possible. And this sounds woo-woo, but emotionally and energetically accessible to the people in my life. There's some people in my life right now that have terminal illness, and I want to be right there. I don't want to be in the least bit foggy throughout this period. I want to be there for my kids as they have to cope with that. And I don't know when that's going to happen. My dad has kidney cancer. It's moved into his liver and his pancreas, which he doesn't entirely get because he doesn't want to, and that's his choice. But it's also, for him, it's inoperable because of the previous bladder cancers that he's had. At his age, it's too risky of a surgery, and the recovery coming out of it would be too difficult for him. Because he doesn't have the patience level to live in my studio and let me help him through it. And that's just bottom line truth. And I am not slamming him for it or anyone else. I totally believe that everyone, when they are faced with some kind of illness or injury, have to find their own path through it. They just have to. And they have to decide for themselves how that fits in with all the people in their world. I'm not being at all critical, even though it might seem like it, because here's the thing we've all come to learn in the last few weeks. When I'm not on the medication, I am really, truly more fully in who I am. And who I am is someone who's pretty serious, like always. I always have this serious kind of bent to me. That's just who I am. I'm okay with it. I'm still joyful and cheerful, but it's taken a little bit of adjustment, especially for one of my kids. It doesn't mean I'm angry or mad. It's just, I'm just slightly more serious. I don't have as much of a sense of humor, although I never really did, even when I was a little bit more spacey. But I'm able to say sorry to my kids a little bit more. I'm able to recognize a little bit more quickly that I missed a moment. Oh, I didn't respond to that in a way that was really encouraging for them. And so I'm very hopeful that this will help through this season of our lives. And in that bent, we will talk a little bit more of my knitting, because this is truly a knitting podcast. And at the end, there will be a short Reiki session. Maybe I'll be able to insert a timestamp, maybe not. We'll see. If you want some just Reiki sessions, head over to Patreon in the next few weeks. Hopefully I'll start uploading them on a regular basis. It is, I believe, a gift that I have that I can share with you. So I'm gonna. I have been making mommy tube socks. You know how when your kids are little, and I mean little, I mean, just walking age little. You make tube socks for them where the heel section is just ribbed or not. You just make it long enough they can kind of grow through it. I have blown out so many of my socks, and it takes so long, and it's so hard for me to knit heels because you got to remember the pattern and you got to figure out where you're at, and I get interrupted a lot. So guess what? When you just make a long tube, it makes its own little heel. And then I saw on another podcast, and I don't remember which one, the lady said once she starts to have a hole here, even if it's more than just like a row of knitting, she will stitch around it and she'll just insert a heel around that hole. She will insert a heel over where the hole was and just let the hole continue to open up. And now she's got this heel, or sometimes she actually opens it up and sews it to the inside of the new heel as reinforcement. And that's easier and faster for her, because I live in a place where I believe it's the sand and the dusty sand that's everywhere constantly, that wears them out, because it even gets in your shoes. You take your shoes off the front door, but the dust and sand gets in your shoes. And so even if you're using your socks in those, they still wear out faster. I'm not always able to make sock tubes or get sock tubes that are densely enough knit to help against that. I don't really like the way that feels either. So I'm learning to adjust, and this is my adjustment, and it's making me feel good. And so I have gotten a couple pairs. I've got like 6 little tubes, and I can take a tube that I was gonna make shorties out of and sometimes make a long enough part. This is probably gonna be one long tube. This was double this, and this will be just enough once the toe's finished, I think, to fit. And I've learned this. If it's not quite long enough, as long as I've made this bind off here stretchy enough, I can crochet added color around really quickly to help make a cuff that will stay on my leg. It drives me batshit crazy that I can't produce sweater after sweater after sweater that just follows a damn pattern and fits me the way I want it to, because I can't see well enough to read the tiny print or magnify it enough or follow it or have all the things or whatever, or I'm just so stinking impatient. So I'm embracing what I can do and loving it. Like, I can do this, I can do socks. Damn it, by the time I finish this sweater, our really cold this year in 10 years is gonna be over. Yes! You did not, but you're interrupting my podcast, so what is it?
I'm done with the paper.
Okay, just leave it there and we will deal with it later. Thank you. That's not a toy, that's a blank. Put it down. I'm almost done. So I did a bit of a balloon sleeve because they're easy and you don't have to decrease. You just decrease at the very end. And what I do is just use a needle 2 to 4 millimeters smaller and do a few rows. There is some garter stitch at the bottom. No, it doesn't match. And there's some garter stitch along the side panels. I knit the body panel all in one. It's a boat neck, because I love a boat neck, and I'm working on this sleeve. If I really got on it, I could probably finish it in a day. So maybe this week, maybe. I'm starting a new class this week from the Shift Network. I'm very excited about. Oh, hi. The dog's changed places, traded places. I did just recently try to do a crocheted sweater in a raglan pattern thing, and it just didn't work. And I don't like crocheted sweaters as much because they are heavier. even with lighter yarn, the crochet stitches are thicker. And I want some crocheted t-shirt type things to wear in the spring and in the fall. So I'm working on that. I just don't know how it's going. It's not going great. And I may just have to bite the bullet and knit them. But at the new year, we also talked about how I was endeavoring to have a spend zero year. Okay, that's not happened. I have had to break down because, like I said, with the weight and the medication, my weight was doing so great when we moved here a year ago, but I was on all the meds. And I was doing a lot more exercise at the other house because it was much shadier, so I could be outside like all the time doing stuff. Here we have mesquite trees, which are like glorified bushes. They don't give shade underneath where you're working or what you're doing. And we live on gravel, hilly place, and it's very hard for me to walk. I have some chiropractic issues in my joints. So I got a treadmill, which doesn't give me the same end result as a walk. Like a mile on the treadmill is not the same as a mile at the old place. Like it just doesn't do it. So I've really had to figure that out. But what I'm saying is I used to keep 3 sizes of pants. I got rid of the biggest size. I have like 1 left. Well, I'm in it. So I had to break down and get a couple pairs of pants that hopefully will fit. Because, I got some pants in the right size, but a different manufacturer, so it could be an entirely different size. Hell if I know. Which is also why I have pants in 3 different sizes. Because like my work pants can all be in a size smaller than what my jeans are in right now. And I always try to buy the same manufacturers and stuff. I buy a lot of stuff used on eBay because they are so different, and I can't just go shopping when I want to and try stuff on. Because I'm legally blind and I can't drive a car. And I don't have a lot of physical friends right here. It's been a bit challenging, but it has improved dramatically in the last couple years since we moved out of Tucson. And I'm building a lot more friends online. A couple friends that have come and gone in person because we've lived in different places. Because friendships also come out of proximity. And there aren't a lot of people my age who aren't working. So then they'd be home to be friends with. Well, and when I take my kid to school, I'm 20 years older than all the other parents. So it is what it is. And I just decided that I was going to forego the $0 challenge and buy a couple things I needed. I also realized that there was a bleach episode last year, and so a lot of my tops were damaged. So I bought a few more shirts, t-shirts, which hopefully, when you buy a lot on eBay, even though if it says women's, sometimes they'll come and they'll be like junior sizes. Well, a junior size large, I may be able to get it on, but it's not going to fit in the way that I want it to. Because I am 51 and nothing should be skin tight anymore, ever. Never. So that's happening. And the haircut is growing out. I no longer feel like I've got a bangs. It's almost all one length and it's growing out. It's not growing out great because I still feel like the back is longer than the front and I don't like that. But I think I need to get it down here before we can fix it. And I just try to remind myself that every day. And it's hard because I'm also at that stage in my life where nobody comes up and says, "You're so cute. I just love you. You're so pretty." And I'm bothered by the fact that I need and want that. This is just to keep the warmth, to keep this cardigan closed in front of me. Oh well. And if you think I was just bitchy to my child, I'm sorry. I didn't intend to be, but we'd already had a discussion about this. And I want to get into some regular routines. And I think kids should be able to give their parents half an hour to themselves, where they understand that the parent working out or the parent doing a podcast or the parent taking an online class is a priority. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So in that vein, at just about 31 minutes, we are going to start a Reiki session for you. I'm sorry if the glare on my glasses this whole time bothered you. But I'm just going to pop them up while I do the Reiki session. There will be some chatter. There's some Reiki music in the background. And hopefully you can enjoy this. It will start when my hands open. It will be coming to a close when I go back to Namaste hands at Heart Center. And Namaste means I recognize the good in you. The good in me recognizes the good in you. The spirit in me recognizes the spirit in you. I believe that even though I am Christian. I do believe we are all spirit beings. We are all energy beings. And that is why energy work does work for all of us. We have to start someplace, and most traditions believe you go into an afterlife of spirit. So yes, I do believe we are spirit energy beings, and this will be helpful to all. And so I want to bring this Reiki to you and to your pets today. Even if they are in the room with you, they will receive Reiki healing to their highest good. My intention on this Sunday afternoon is simply to bring highest healing, peace, heart-centered love. As I like to say, we all should be looking with our hearts first, not our eyes. One thing that blindness has taught me is that my eyes always played tricks on me. When I look from my heart first, it never lies. Come on. Reiki for your highest good, Reiki for your pets. You are loved. You are worthy of this time. Whether you are sitting, lying down, taking peaceful moments, or just listening with your earbuds in as you pick up after the toddlers and do the dishes. These moments are a focus on you and your well-being. Reiki energy flow. Reiki flows through all space and time. This will help to heal your higher self as well as you. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever is your highest good. The more closely our higher selves can come into alignment with our earthly selves, the stronger we are. deserve this time for you. If your pets are in the room with you and they are hearing this, they will be benefiting from this also. All living creatures will benefit from Reiki. There is someone that is not in the room with you that you would like to bring this Reiki to. You're now encouraged to think about them and to offer, just by saying in your head, "Hey Mom, I offer to you Reiki's highest healing for your good today, for as long as that healing may help you." And your higher self can talk to their higher self. And I truly believe that when we have thoughts of other people, that those energies are transferred from our higher self to their higher self. That our higher selves have a much stronger understanding of all the energetical connections, the spirit level connections we make with each other throughout the day. That's why your animals, when you just hold them and love them and you just think in your head, "I just love you so much," why you see a response to that. Now I'll start to bring this session to a close. As I bring my hands to heart center in a namaste position. I want to thank you for spending time with me. Because when people watch me and spend time with me, I believe that I feel that. That helps carry me through the trials in my life. And I'm grateful for your time and your friendship and your thoughts. I hope that you can take the same from this. Look with your heart first, not your eyes.